So just a few more seconds and then off we go. So, okay, hello everyone. This is Sunil Malapati. I am the host today and the director of our unique Zoom production of Taming of the Shrew. This is our second evening. The first evening we did back in August, Acts 1 and 2. Today we will be doing Acts 3 and 4. And coming up, we will do Acts 4 and 5. So very briefly, let me show you this. Let's hide that. So, Taming of the Shrew, Acts 3 and 4. I'd like to give a shout out to our tech manager, Kay Schroeder, who has been keeping things behind us. And thanks a lot, Kay. Without you, we would not be able to do this show. This is our cast for today. We have a list of 8 great actresses from the tri-state region. Actually, more than the tri-state region, spread across 3 time zones, actually. One from Pennsylvania and one from Colorado. And they will introduce themselves shortly as their roles, so I won't spend too much time on this slide. We will shortly begin the play reading in about a couple of minutes. After the play reading, we will take about a 30-second break and come back for a discussion with the actors. You can use the chat feature to pose questions during the play or wait until the play reading is done. You can post your comments and thoughts. And I'll very briefly tell you a couple of questions to think about as you watch the play reading. For future productions, we will complete Taming of the Shrew on October 8th, doing both Act 5 and something called the induction. We'll tell you more about that next time. These productions are being recorded and we will post these on our website and social media. The first one is already available. Now, questions for you to think about as you watch the play. Obviously, every role in society has definite expectations. In Taming of the Shrew, how does the play, The Taming of the titular Shrew, try and fit Katharina into a specific role? And does Petruchio go too far in his gaslighting? Yes, we are calling it gaslighting. Also, how is the other sister, Bianca, portrayed? Does she have agency? Think about this as you watch the play. Another question to think about, this is something Shakespeare does very well, is what a critic once called an unseen. A scene that describes action, but we don't actually get to see the action. Several key parts of this story aren't shown. They're not dramatized, but told to us through secondary characters. How does this kind of a storytelling from secondary characters help either advance the narrative of the main characters, or how does that resolve or impact the drama of the piece? So as you watch, especially Acts 3 and 4, think about these. So that is all I have to start with. Without too much further ado, we would like to get the play reading started. Now, I know some of you have not seen Acts 1 and 2. If you did not get a chance to, well, I will let the actors tell you the story thus far, narrated by the characters themselves.
Was ever a gentleman as grieved as I, Baptista Minola, I firmly am resolved not to bestow my youngest daughter, sweet Bianca, before I have a husband for elder Katharina.
They call me Katharina, that do talk of me, and sometimes Kate the cursed.
Sir, to your pleasure humbly I, Bianca, subscribe. My books and instruments shall be my company.
I burn, I pine, I perish if I achieve not this young modest girl. I have Pisa left and am to Padua come for studies. I will be a schoolmaster and undertake teaching the maid, while my servant Tranio
am tied to be obedient and am master in his stead. I am content to be Lucentio and make myself a suitor to fair Bianca. Pleads Lucentio's riches to her father while my master pretends to be schoolmaster Cambio.
I serve Lucentio, and now Tranio is Lucentio? The better for him.
Bianca is the chosen of Signor Hortensio, and I will be a music teacher to have leave and leisure and to make love to her and court her by herself. My friend Petruchio will undertake to woo cursed Caterina, yea, and to marry her if her dowry please.
Petruchio is my name. I come to wive it wealthily in Padua. If wealthily, then happily in Padua.
Grumio, thy master is mad. Will he woo her? Aye, or I'll hang her.
Now, by the world, Kate is a lusty wench. I will woo her with some spirit.
Too light for such a swain as you to catch, and yet as heavy as my weight shall be. My father hath wished me wed to one half lunatic, a madcap ruffian, and a swearing jack.
Sunday is the wedding day.
Act 3, Scene 1, Padua, Baptista's house.
Fiddler forbear, you grow too forward, sir. Have you so soon forgot the entertainment her sister Caterina welcomed you withal?
But wrangling pedant, this is Bianca, the patroness of heavenly harmony. And then give me leave to have prerogative, and when in music we have spent an hour, your lecture shall have leisure for as much.
Preposterous ass that never read so far as to know the cause why music was ordained. Was it not to refresh the mind of man after his studies or his usual pain? Then give me leave to read philosophy, and while I pause, serve in your harmony.
Why, gentlemen, you do me double wrong to strive for that which resteth in my choice. I'm no breaching scholar in the schools. I'll not be tied to appointed times, but learn my lessons as I please myself. And, to cut off all strife, here sit we down. Take your instrument, play you the whiles. His lecture will be done ere you have tuned.
You'll leave his lecture when I am in tune.
That will be never. Tune your instrument.
Where left we last?
Here, madam. Hic ibat simois, hic est sigea tellus, hic steterat priami, regia celsa senis. Now, hic ibat, as I told you before, simois, I am Lucentio. Hic est, son unto Vincentio of Pisa. Segia tellus, disguised thus to get your love. Hic steterat, and that Lucentio that comes a-wooing. Priami is my man Tranio. Regia, bearing my port. Celsa sins, that we might beguile the old pantaloon.
Madam, my instrument is in tune.
Oh, let's hear. Oh, fie, the treble jars.
Spit in the hole, man, and tune again.
Now, let me see if I can construe it. Hic ibat simois, I know you not. Hic est sigiatellis, I trust you not. Hic steterit priami, take heed he hear us not. Regia, presume not. Celsa senis, despair not.
Madam, 'tis now in tune.
Oh, but the bass.
Base is right, 'tis the base knave that jars. How fiery and forward our pedant is. Now for my life the knave doth court my love. Pedescule, I'll watch you better yet.
In time I may believe, yet I mistrust. I must believe my master, else I promise you I should be arguing still upon that doubt. But let it rest. Now, Licio, to you. Good masters, take it not unkindly, pray, that I have been thus pleasant with you both.
You may go walk and give me leave a while. My lessons make no music in 3 parts.
Are you so formal, sir? Well, I must wait and watch withal, but I be deceived our fine musician groweth amorous.
Madam, before you touch the instrument, to learn the order of my fingerings, I must begin with rudiments of art, to teach you a gamut in a briefer short. And there it is in writing, fairly drawn.
Gamut. I am the ground of all accord. A. Right. To plead Hortensio's passion. B. Me, Bianca, take him for thy lord. C. Fa'at, that loves with all affection. D. Sol, re, 1 clef, 2 notes have I. E. La, me, show pity or I die. Call you this gamut? Tut, I like it not. Old fashions please me best. I am not so nice to change true rules for old inventions. Farewell, sweet masters both. I must be gone.
Faith, mistress, then I have no cause to stay.
But I have cause to pry into this pedant. Methinks he looks as though he were in love.
Act 3, Scene 2, Padua, before Baptista's house.
Signor Lucentio, this is the appointed day that Caterina and Petruchio should be married. And yet we hear not of our son-in-law. What will be said? What mockery will it be? To want the bridegroom when the priest attends to speak the ceremonial rites of marriage? What says Lucentio in this shame of ours?
No shame but mine. I must forsooth be forced to give my hand opposed against my heart unto a mad-brained roots boy, full of spleen, who wooed in haste and means to wed at leisure. I told you, he was a frantic fool, hiding his bitter jest and blunt behavior, and to be noted for a merry man. He'll woo 1,000, point the day of marriage, make feasts, invite friends, and proclaim the bonds, yet never means to wed where he hath wooed, and say, lo, there is mad Petruchio's wife. If it would please him, come and marry her. Would Caterina had never seen him though?
Go, girl, I cannot blame thee now to weep, for such an injury would vex a very saint. Much more shrew of thy impatient humor.
Master, news, old news, and such news as you have never heard of.
Is it new and old too? How may that be?
Why, is it not news to hear of Petruchio's coming?
Is he come?
Why, no, sir.
Well, what then?
He is coming.
When will he be here?
When he stands where I am now and sees you there.
Say, what to thine old news?
Why, Petruchio is coming in a new hat and an old jerkin, and a pair of old breeches thrice turned, a pair of boots that have been candle cases, one buckled, one laced, an old rusty sword taken from the town armory with a broken hilt, his horse hipped with old mothy saddle and stirrups of no kindred, besides possessed with the glanders, troubled with the lampus, infected with the fashions, full of wingdles, sped with spavins, rayed with yellows, past cure of the five, stark spoiled with the staggers, been gnawed with the bots.
Who comes with him?
Oh, his lackey, for all the world caparisoned like the horse, an old hat, and the humor of 40 fancies pricked in it for a feather, a monster, a very monster in apparel, and not like a Christian footboy or a gentleman's lackey.
Well, I am glad he's come, howsoever he comes.
Why, sir, he comes not.
Didst thou not say he comes?
Oh, that Petruchio came?
Aye, that Petruchio came.
No, sir, I say his horse comes with him on his back.
Why, that's all one.
Nay, by St. Jamie, I hold you a penny, a horse and a man is more than one, and yet not many.
Come, where be these gallants? Who's at home?
You are welcome, sir.
And yet I come not well.
And yet you halt not?
Not so.
So well apparelled as I wish you were.
Were it better I should rush in thus? But where is Kate? Where is my lovely bride? How does my father? Gentles, methinks you frown. And wherefore gaze this goodly company? As if they saw some wondrous monument, some comet or unusual prodigy.
Why, sir, you know this is your wedding day. First, we were sad, fearing you would not come. Now sadder, that you come so unprovided. Fie, doff this habit, shame to your estate, and eyesore to our solemn festival.
And tell us, what occasion of import hath all so long detained you from your wife, and sent you hither so unlike yourself?
Tedious, it were to tell, and harsh to hear. Sufficeth, I am come to keep my word, though in some part enforced to digress. But where is Kate? I stay too long from her. The morning wears. 'Tis time we were at church.
See not your bride in these unreverent robes. Go to my chamber, put on clothes of mine.
Not I, believe me. Thus I'll visit her.
But thus, I trust, you will not marry her.
Good sooth, even thus. Therefore, hath done with words. To me she's married, not unto my clothes. Could I repair what she will wear in me? As I can change these poor accoutrements, 'twere well for Kate and better for myself. But what a fool am I to chat with you when I should bid good morrow to my bride and seal the title with a lovely kiss.
He hath some meaning in his mad attire. We will persuade him, be it possible, to put on better ere he go to church.
I'll after him and see the event of this.
Act 3, Scene 3, Padua, before Baptista's house, a little later.
Signor Lucentio, came you from the church?
Master Cambio, as willingly as ere I came from school.
And is the bride and bridegroom coming home?
A bridegroom, say you? 'Tis a groom indeed, a grumbling groom, and that the girl shall find.
Curster than she? Why, 'tis impossible.
Why, he's a devil, a very fiend.
Why, she's a devil, the devil's dam.
But she's a lamb, a dove, a fool to him. I'll tell you, Sir Lucentio, when the priest should ask if Caterina should be his wife, "Aye, by God's wounds," quoth he, and swore so loud that all amazed, the priest let fall the book, and as he stooped again to take it up, the mad-brained bridegroom took him at such a cuff that down fell the priest and book and priest. "Now take them up," quoth he, "if any list."
What said the vicar when he rose again?
Oh, trembled and shook. For why, he stamped and swore, as if the vicar meant to cazen him. But after many ceremonies done, he calls for wine. "Oh, a health," quoth he, as if he had been abroad, rousing to his mates after a storm, quaffed off the muscadel, and threw the sops all in the sexton's face, having no other reason but that his beard grew thin and hungerly, and seemed to ask him sops as he was drinking. This done, he took the bride about the neck and kissed her lips with such a clamorous smack that at the parting all the church did echo. And I, seeing this, came hence for very shame. And after me, I know the rout is coming. Such a mad marriage never was before. But as for your marriage, I am to get a man, and he shall be Vincentio of Pisa, and make assurance here in Padua of great sums than I have promised. So shall you quietly enjoy your hope and marry sweet Bianca with consent.
Were it not that my fellow schoolmaster doth watch Bianca's steps so narrowly, 'twere good, methinks, to steal our marriage, which once performed, let all the world say no, I'll keep mine own, despite of all the world.
That by degrees we mean to look into, and watch our vantage in this business. Hark, hark, I hear the minstrels play.
Gentlemen and friends, I thank you for your pains. I know you think to dine with me today, and have prepared great store of wedding cheer. But so it is, my haste doth call me hence, and therefore here I mean to take my leave.
Oh, it's possible you will away tonight?
I must away today, before night come, and honest company, I thank you all that have beheld me give away myself to this most patient, sweet, and virtuous wife. Dine with my father, drink a health to me, for I must hence, and farewell to thee all.
Let us entreat you to stay till after dinner.
It may not be.
Let me entreat you.
It cannot be.
Let me entreat you.
I am content.
Are you content to stay?
I am content you shall entreat me stay, but yet not stay. Entreat me how you can.
Now, if you love me, stay.
Grumio, my horse.
Nay, then do what thou canst. I will not go today, no, nor tomorrow, not till I please myself. The door is open, sir. There lies your way. You may be jogging whilst your boots are green. For me, I'll not be gone till I please myself. 'Tis like you'll prove a jolly surly groom, that take it on you at the first sight so roundly.
Oh, Kate, content thee. Prithee, be not angry.
I will be angry what hast thou to do? Father, be quiet. He shall stay my leisure. Gentlemen, forward to the bridal dinner. I see a woman may be made a fool if she had not a spirit to resist.
They shall go forward, Kate, at thy command. Obey the bride, you that attend on her. Go to the feast, revel and domineer. Carouse full measure to her maidenhead. Be mad and merry, or go hang yourselves. But for my bonny Kate, she must with me. Nay, look not big, nor stamp, nor stare, nor fret. I will be master of what is mine own. She is my goods, my chattels. She is my house, my household stuff, my field, my barn, my horse, my ox, my ass, my anything. And here she stands. Touch her, whoever dare. I'll bring mine action on the proudest he that stops my way in Padua. Grumio, draw forth thy weapon. We are beset with thieves. Rescue thy mistress if thou be a man. Fear not, sweet wench. They shall not touch thee, Kate. I'll buckler thee against 1,000,000.
Nay, let them go. A couple of quiet ones.
Of all mad matches, never was the like. Mistress, what's your opinion of your sister?
That being mad herself, she's madly mated.
Neighbors and friends, though bride and groom want to supply the places at the table, you know there wants no junkets at the feast. Licentio, you shall supply the bridegroom's place, and let Bianca take her sister's room.
Shall sweet Bianca practice how to bride it?
She shall, Lucentio. Come, gentlemen, let's go.
Act 4, Scene 1. Petruchio's country house.
Fie, fie on all tired jades, on all mad masters, and all foul ways. Was ever a man so beaten? Was ever a man so rayed? Was ever a man so weary? I am sent before to make a fire, and they are coming after to warm them. Hola! Ho, Curtis!
Who is that calls so coldly?
Oh, a piece of ice. If thou doubt it, thou mayst slide from my shoulder to my heel, with no greater a run but my head and my neck. A fire, good Curtis.
Is my master and his wife coming, Grumio?
Oh, aye, Curtis, aye. And therefore, fire, fire.
Is she so hot a shrew as she's reported?
She was, good Curtis, before this frost. But thou knowest, winter tames man, woman, and beast, for it hath tamed my old master and my new mistress and myself, fellow Curtis.
Away, you 3-inch fool, I am no beast.
Am I but 3 inches? Why, thy horn is a foot, and so long am I at the least. But wilt thou make a fire? Or shall I complain on thee to our mistress, whose hand, she being now at hand, thou shalt soon feel to thy cold comfort for being slow in thy hot office?
I prithee thee, good Grumio, tell me how goes the world?
A cold world, Curtis, if ever office but thine. And therefore fire. Do thy duty and have thy duty, for my master and mistress are almost frozen to death.
There's fire ready, and therefore, good Grumio, news.
Why, therefore, fire, for I have caught extreme cold. Where's the cook? Is supper ready? The house trimmed? Rushes strewed? Cobwebs swept, the serving men in their new white stockings, and every officer his wedding garment on? Be the jacks fair within, the Jills fair without, the carpets laid, and everything in order?
All ready, and therefore I pray thee, news.
First, no, my horse is tired. My master and mistress fallen out.
How?
Out of their saddles into the dirt, and thereby hangs the tale.
Let's hatch, Grumio.
Lend thy ear.
Here.
There.
This 'tis to feel a tale, not to hear a tale.
And therefore 'tis called a sensible tale. And this cuff was but to knock at your ear and beseech listening. Now I begin. We came down a foul hill, my master riding behind my mistress.
Both of one horse?
What's that to thee?
Why, a horse.
Tell thou the tale, but hadst thou not crossed me, thou shouldst have heard how her horse fell, and she under her horse. Thou shouldst have heard in how merry a place, how she was bemoiled, how he left her with the horse upon her, how he beat me because her horse stumbled, how she waded through the dirt to pluck him off me, how he swore, how she prayed that never prayed before, how I cried, how the horses ran away, how her bridle was burst, how I lost my crupper with many things of worthy memory, which now shall die in oblivion, and thou return unexperienced to thy grave.
By this reckoning, he is more shrew than she.
Aye, and that thou and the proudest of you all shall find when he comes home. But what talk is this? Call forth Nathaniel, Joseph, Nicholas, Philip, Walter, Sugarsop, and the rest.
Do you hear, ho? You must meet my master to countenance my mistress.
Why hath she a face of her own?
Who knows not that?
Thou, it seems, that calls for company to countenance her.
I call them forth to credit her.
Why, she comes to borrow nothing of them.
Welcome home, Grumio.
How now, Grumio?
What, Grumio?
Hello, Grumio!
Welcome you. How now, you? What you? Fellow you. And thus, much for the greeting. Now, my spruce companions, is all ready and all things neat?
All things is ready. How near is our master?
Where be these knaves? What? No man at door to hold my stirrup nor take my horse? Where is Nathaniel, Nicholas, Philip?
Here, right here. Here, sir. Here, sir.
Here, sir. Here, sir. Here, sir. Here, sir. You logger-headed and unpolished grooms. What? No attendance, no regard, no duty. Where is the foolish knave I sent before?
Here, sir, as foolish as I was before.
You peasant swine, you horse and malt horse drudge. Did I not bid thee meet me in the park and bring along these rascal knaves with thee?
There were none fine but Adam, Ralph, and Gregory. The rest were ragged, old, and beggarly. Yet, as they are, here are they come to meet you.
Go, rascals, go, fetch my supper in. Where is the life that late I led? Where are those Sit down, Kate, and welcome. Sound, 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 sound. Why, when I say, nay, good sweet Kate, be merry. Off with my boots, you rogues, you villains. When? It was the Friar of Orders Grey, as he forth walked on his way. Out, you rogue, you plucked my foot awry. Take that, and mend the plucking off the other. Be merry, Kate. Some water here. Woohoo! Where's my spaniel Troilus? Stirrup, get you hence, and bid my cousin Ferdinand come hither. One, Kate, that you must kiss and be acquainted with. Where are my slippers? Shall I have some water? Come, Kate, wash and welcome heartily. You whoreson villain, will you let it fall?
Patience, I pray you. 'Twas a fault unwilling.
A whoreson, beetle-headed, flap-eared knave. Come, Kate, sit down. I know you have a stomach. Will you give thanks, sweet Kate, or else should I? What's this, mutton?
Oh, I?
Who brought it?
Aye, sir.
'Tis burnt, and so is all the meat. What dogs are these? Where is the rascal cook? How durst you villains bring it from the dresser and serve it thus to me that love it not? There! Take it, you trenchers, cups and all! You heedless dotheads and unmannered slaves! What do you grumble? I'll be with you straight.
I pray you, husband, be not so disquiet. The meat was well, if you were so contented.
I tell thee, Kate, 'twas burnt and dried away, and I expressly am forbid to touch it, for it engenders choler, planteth anger, and better 'twere that both of us did fast, since of ourselves are choleric, and feed it with such over-roasted flesh. Be patient. Tomorrow shall be mended, and for this night we'll fast for company. Come, I will bring thee to thy bridal chamber.
Philip, didst ever see the like?
He kills her in her own humor, in her chamber, making a sermon of continency to her, and rails and swears and rates, and she, poor soul, knows not which way to stand, to look, to speak, and sits as one new risen from a dream.
Thus I have politically begun my reign, and 'tis my hope to end successfully. My falcon now is sharp and passing empty. Until she stoop, she must not be full gorged, for then she never looks upon her lure. Another way I have to man my haggard, to make her come and know her keeper's call. That is, to watch her, as we watch these kites that bait and beat and will not be obedient. She eat no meat today, nor none shall eat. Last night she slept not, nor tonight she shall not. As with the meat, some undeserved fault I'll find about the making of the bed, and here I'll fling a pillow, there the bolster, this way the coverlet, another way the sheets. Aye, and amid this hurly, I intend that all is done in reverent care of her. And in conclusion, she shall watch all night, and if she chance to nod, I'll rail and brawl, and with the clamor keep her still awake. This is a way to kill a wife with kindness. And thus I'll curb her mad and headstrong humor. He that knows better how to tame a shrew, let him speak. 'Tis charity to show.
Act 4, Scene 2, Padua, outside Baptista's house.
Is't possible, friend Licio, that Mistress Bianca doth fancy any other but Lucentio? I tell you, sir, she bears me fair in hand.
Sir, to satisfy you in what I have said, stand by and mark the manner of his teaching.
Now, mistress, profit you in what you read?
What, master, read you? First resolve me that.
I read that I profess the art to love.
And may you prove, sir, master of your art.
While you, sweet dear, prove mistress of my heart.
You that durst swear at your mistress Bianca loved none in the world so well as Lucentio.
Oh, despiteful love, unconstant womankind. I tell thee, Licio, this is wonderful.
Make no mistake no more. I am not Licio, nor musician as I seem to be, but one that scorned to live in this disguise. Know, sir, that I am called Hortensio.
Signor Hortensio, I have often heard of your entire affection to Bianca, and since mine eyes are witness of her lightness, I will with you, if you be so contented, forswear Bianca and her love forever.
See how they kiss and court? Signor Lucentio, here is my hand, and here I firmly vow never to woo her no more, but do forswear her as one unworthy all the former favors that I have fondly flattered her withal.
And here I take the unfeigned oath, never to marry with her, though she would entreat. Oh, fie on her. See how beastly she doth court him.
Would all the world but he had quite forsworn. For me, that I may surely keep my oath, I will be married to a wealthy widow, ere 3 days pass, which hath as long loved me as I have loved this proud, disdainful haggard. And so farewell, Signor Lucentio.
Mistress Bianca, bless you with such grace as longeth to a lover's blessed case. Nay, I have ta'en you napping, gentle love, and have forsworn you with Hortensio.
Tranio, you jest. But have you both forsworn me?
Mistress, we have.
Then we are rid of Licio.
Faith, he'll have a lusty widow now that shall be wooed and wedded in a day.
God give him joy.
Master, master! I have watched so long that I am dog weary, but at last I spied, master, a mercatante, or a pedant, or I know not what, but format and apparel, in gait and countenance like as a father.
And what of him, Tranio?
If he be credulous and trust my tale, I'll make him glad to seem Vincentio, and give assurance to Baptista Minola as if he were the right Vincentio. Take in your love, and then let me alone.
God save you, sir.
Oh, and you, sir, you are welcome. What countryman, I pray?
Of Mantua.
Of Mantua, sir? Marry, God forbid. And come to Padua careless of your life?
My life, sir. How, I pray, for that goes hard.
Oh, 'tis death for anyone in Mantua to come to Padua. Know you not that cause? Your ships are stayed at Venice, And the Duke, for private quarrel twixt your Duke and him, hath published and proclaimed it openly. 'Tis marvel but that you are but newly come. You might have heard it else proclaimed about.
Alas, sir, it is worse for me than so, for I have bills for money by exchange from Florence, and I must here deliver them.
Well, sir, to do you courtesy, this will I do, and this I will advise you. First, tell me, have you ever been to Pisa?
Aye, sir, Pisa, I have been often. Pisa, renowned for grave citizens.
Among them, know you one Vincentio?
I know him not, but I have heard of him. A merchant of incomparable wealth.
Oh, he is my father, sir, and sooth to say, in countenance somewhat doth resemble you.
As much as an apple doth an oyster.
To save your life in this extremity, this favor will I do you for his sake. And think it not the worst of and your fortunes that you are like to Sir Vincentio. His name and credit shall you undertake, and in my house you shall be friendly lodged. This, by the way, I let you understand. My father is here looked for every day, to pass assurance of a dower in marriage twixt me and one Baptista's daughter here. In all these circumstances, I'll instruct you. Go with me to clothe you as becomes you.
Act 4, Scene 3, a room in Petruchio's country house.
No, no, forsooth, I dare not for my life.
The more my wrong, the more his spite appears. What? Did he marry me to famish me? Beggars that come into my father's door, upon entreaty, have a present alms, but I, who never knew how to entreat, nor never needed that I should entreat. I am starved for meat, giddy for lack of sleep, with oath kept waking and with brawling fed, and that which spites me more than all these wants, he does it under the name of perfect love, as who shall say if I sleep or eat? 'Twere deadly sickness or else present death. I prithee go, give me some repast, I care not what, so it be wholesome food.
What say you to a calf's foot?
'Tis passing good, I prithee leave it me.
Oh, I fear it is too caloric a meat. How say you to a fat tripe finely broiled?
I like it well, good Grumio, fetch it me.
I cannot tell, I fear 'tis choleric. What say you to a piece of beef and mustard?
A dish that I do love to feed upon.
Aye, but the mustard is too hot a little.
Why then the beef, and let the mustard rest.
Nay, then I will not. You shall have the mustard, or else you get no beef of Grumio.
Then both, or one, or anything thou wilt.
Why then the mustard without the beef.
Go, get thee gone, thou false deluding slave.
Oh,
that feedest me with the very name of meat, sorrow on thee, and all the pack of you, that triumph thus upon my misery. Go, get thee gone, I say.
How fares my Kate? My sweeting, all amort?
Mistress, what cheer?
Faith, as cold as can be.
Pluck up thy spirits. Look cheerfully upon me. Here, love, thou seest how diligent I am to dress thy meat myself and bring it thee? I am sure, sweet Kate, this kindness merits thanks. What, not a word? Nay, then, thou lovest it not, and all my pains is sordid to no proof. Here, take away this dish.
I pray you, let it stand.
The poorest service is repaid with thanks, and so shall mine before you touch the meat.
Thank you, sir.
Signor Petruchio, fie, you are to blame. Come, Mistress Kate, I'll bear you company.
Eat it all up, Hortensio, if thou lovest me. Much good do it unto thy gentle heart. Kate, eat apace, and now, my honey love, will we return unto thy father's house and revel it as bravely as the best, with silken coats and caps and golden rings, with ruffs and cuffs and farthingales and things, with scarfs and fans and double change of bravery, with amber bracelets, beads, and all this knavery. What, hast thou dined? The tailor stays thy leisure to deck thy body with his ruffling. Come, tailor, let us see these ornaments. Lay forth the... What news with you, sir?
Here is the cap your worship did bespeak.
Why, this was molded on a porringer. A velvet dish. Why, 'tis lewd and filthy. What? 'Tis a cockle or a walnut shell, a neck, a toy, a trick, a baby's cap. Away with it. Come, let me have a bigger.
I'll have no bigger. Thus doth fit fine. And gentlewomen wear such caps as these.
Oh, when you are gentle, you shall have one too, and not till then.
That will not be in haste.
Why, sir, I trust I may have leave to speak, and speak I will. I am no child, no babe. Your betters have endured me say my mind. And if you cannot, best you stop your ears. My tongue will tell the anger of my heart, or else my heart concealing it will break. And rather than it shall, I will be free, even to the uttermost, as I please in words.
Why, thou sayest true. It is a paltry cap, a custard coffin, a bauble, a silken pie. I love thee well, and thou likest not.
Love me or love me not, I like the cap, and I will have it, or I will have none.
Thy gown? Why, come, tailor, let us see it. Oh, mercy God! What masking stuff is here? What's this, a sleeve? 'Tis like a demi-cannon. What, up and down, carved like an apple tart? Here's a snip and a nip and a cut and a slish and a slash, like to a scissor in a barber's shop. Why, what in the devil's name, tailor, callest thou this?
I see she's like to have neither cap nor gown.
Orderly and well, according to the fashion and the time.
Marry, and did, but if you be remembered, I did not bid you mar it to the time. Go, hop me over every kennel home, for you shall hop without my custom, sir. I'll none of it. Hence, make your best of it.
I never saw a better fashioned gown, more quaint, more pleasing, no more commendable. Be like you mean to make a puppet of me?
Why, true. He means to make a puppet of thee.
She says your worship means to make a puppet of her.
Oh, monstrous arrogance! Thou liest. thou thread, thou thimble, thou yard 3/4, half-yard, quarter nail, thou flea, thou wit, thou winter cricket, thou, bravid in mine own house with a skein of thread? Away, thou rag, thou quantity, thou remnant, or I shall so bemeet thee with thy yard as thou shalt think on prating whilst thou livest. I tell thee, that thou hast marred her gown.
Your worship is deceived. The gown is made just as my master has directed. Grumo gave order how it should be done.
I gave no order. I gave him the stuff.
But how did you desire it should be made?
Marry, sir, with needle and thread.
Why, here is the note. The fashion to testify.
Read it.
The note lies in throat, if he say I said so.
Imprimis, a loose-bodied gown.
Master, if ever I said loose-bodied gown, sew me in the skirts of it and beat me to death with a bottom of brown thread. I said gown.
Proceed.
With a small compassed cape.
Oh, I confess the cape.
With a trunk sleeve.
I confess 2 sleeves.
The sleeves curiously cut.
Aye, there's the villainy.
Oh, error in the bill, sir, error in the bill. I commanded the sleeves should be cut out and sewn up again.
This is true that I say, and I had thee in place where thou shouldst know it.
Well, sir, in brief, the gown is not for me.
Oh, you are right, sir. 'Tis for my mistress.
Go, take it up unto thy master's use. Hortensio, say thou wilt see the tailor paid. Go, take it hence, begone, and say no more.
Tailor, I'll pay thee for thy gown tomorrow. Take no unkindness to his hasty words. Away, I say, commend me to thy master.
Well, come, my Kate, we will unto your fathers, even in these honest, mean habiliments. Our purses shall be proud, our garments poor. For 'tis the mind that makes the body rich, and as the sun breaks through the darkest clouds, so honor appeareth in the meanest habit, which is the jay more precious than the lark, because his feathers are more beautiful, or is the adder better than the eel, because his painted skin contents the eye? Oh no, good Kate, neither art thou the worst for this poor furniture and mean array. If thou accountest it shame, lay it on me, and therefore frolic. We will henceforth to feast and sport us at thy father's house. Go, call my men, and let us straight to him, and bring our horses unto Long Lane End. There we will mount, and thither walk on foot. Let's see. I think 'tis now some 7 o'clock, and well we may come there by dinner time.
I dare assure you, sir, 'tis almost 2, and 'twill be supper time ere you come there.
It shall be 7 ere I go to horse. Look what I speak, or do, or think to do. You are still crossing it. Sirs, let it alone. I will not go today, and ere I do, it shall be what o'clock I say it is.
Why, so this gallant will command the sun.
Act 4, Scene 4, Padua, Baptista's house.
Sir, this is the house. Please it you that I call?
Aye, what else? And but I be deceived, Signor Baptista may remember me nearly 20 years ago in Genoa.
Where we were lodgers at the Pegasus. 'Tis well, and hold your own in any case, with such austerity as longeth to a father. Boy, hast thou done by thy errand to Baptista?
I told him that your father was at Venice, and that you'd looked for him this day in Padua.
Thou art a tall fellow. Hold thee that to drink. Here comes Baptista. Set your countenance, sir. Signor Baptista, you are happily met. Sir, this is the gentleman I told you of. I pray you stand good father to me now. Give me Bianca for my patrimony.
Sir, by your leave, having come to Padua to gather in some debts, my son Lucentio made me acquainted with a weighty cause of love between your daughter and himself. And for the good report I hear of you, and for the love he beareth to your daughter, I am content in a good father's care to have him matched, and if you please to like no worse than I upon some agreement, me shall you find ready and willing, with one consent, to have her so bestowed.
Sir, pardon me in what I have to say. Your plainness and your shortness please me well. Right true it is, your son Lucentio here doth love my daughter, and as she loveth him, or both dissembles deeply their affections. And therefore, if you say no more than this, that like a father you will deal with him, and pass my daughter a sufficient dower. The match is made, and all is done. Your son shall have my daughter with consent.
Oh, I thank you, sir. Where then do you know best we be afide in such assurance ta'en, as shall with either parts agreement stand?
Not at my house, Lucentio, for you know pitchers have ears, and I have many servants.
Oh, then at my lodging, an it like you. There doth my father lie, and there this night we'll pass the business privately and well. Send for your daughter by your servant here. My boy shall fetch the scrivener presently.
It likes me well, Cambio. Hie you home, and bid Bianca to make her ready straight. And if you will, tell what hath happened. Lucentio's father is arrived in Padua, and how she's like to be Lucentio's wife.
Signor Baptista, shall I lead the way?
I follow you.
You saw my master wink and laugh upon you?
Biandello, what of that?
Faith, nothing, but has left me here behind to expound the meaning or moral of his signs and tokens. Baptista is safe, talking with the deceiving father of a deceitful son.
And what of him?
His daughter is to be brought by you to the supper. The old priest of St. Luke's Church is at your command at all hours. Take you assurance of her. Take the priest, clerk, and some sufficient honest witnesses. And if this be not that you look for, I have no more to say, but bid Bianca farewell forever and a day.
Hearest thou, Biandello?
I cannot tarry. I knew a wench married in an afternoon as she went to the garden for parsley to stuff a rabbit, and so may you, sir, and so adieu, sir. My master hath appointed me to go to St. Luke's, to bid the priest be ready to come against you and your appendix.
I may and I will, if she be so contented. She will be pleased, and wherefore should I doubt? Hap what hap may, I'll roundly go about her. It shall go hard if Cambio go without her.
Act 4, Scene 5, a public road.
Come on, in God's name. Once more toward our fathers. Good Lord! How bright and goodly shines the moonlight now.
The moon? The sun. It's not moonlight now.
I say it is the moon that shines so bright.
I know it is the sun that shines so bright.
Now, by my mother's son, and that's myself, it shall be moon or star or what I list, or ere I journey to your father's house. Go on and fetch our horses back in again, evermore crossed and crossed, nothing but crossed.
Say as he says, or we shall never go.
Forward, I pray, since we have come so far, and be it moon or sun or what you please, and if you please to call it a rush candle, henceforth I vow it shall be so for me.
I say it is the moon.
I know it is the moon.
Nay, then you lie. It is
Then-
the blessed sun.
Then God bless it. It is the blessed sun, but sun is not when you say it is not. And the moon changes even in your mind. What you will have it named, even that it is. And so it shall be for Katerina.
Petruchio, go thy ways. The field is won.
Well, forward, forward. Up, but soft. Company is coming here. Good morrow, sweet mistress. Where away? Tell me, sweet Kate, and tell me truly, too, hast thou beheld a fresher gentlewoman? Such war of white and red within her cheeks. What stars do spangle heaven with such beauty? As those two eyes become that heavenly face. Fair lovely maid, once more good day to thee. Sweet Kate, embrace her for her beauty's sake.
He will make the man mad to make a woman of him.
Young budding virgin, fair and fresh and sweet, whither away or where is thy abode? Happy the parents of so fair a child, happier the man whom favorable the stars, and allot thee for his lovely bedfellow.
Why, how now, Kate? I hope thou art not mad. This is a man, old, wrinkled, faded, withered, and not a maiden, as thou sayest he is.
Pardon, O Father, my mistaken eyes that have been so bedazzled with the sun, that everything I look on seemeth green. Now I perceive thou art a reverent Father. Pardon, I pray thee, for my mad mistaking.
Do good, old grandsire, and withal make known which way thou travellest. If along with us, we shall be joyful of thy company.
Fair sir, and you, my merry mistress, that with your strange encounter much amazed me. My name is called Vincentio, my dwelling Pisa, and bound I am to Padua, there to visit Lucentio my son, which long I have not seen.
Happily we met, the happier for thy son, and now by law, as well as reverend age, I may entitle thee my loving father. The sister to my wife, this gentle woman, thy son by this hath married. Let me embrace with old Vicentio, and wander we to see thy honest son, who will of thy arrival be full joyous. Come, go along and see the truth hereof, for our first merriment hath made thee jealous.
Okay, thus ends Acts 3 and 4 of the Taming of the Shrew. What happens next? You'll have to tune in on October 8th to find out in Act 5. We'll give the actors just a few seconds to come on, change their character names back to their actual names, and we will start the discussion shortly. Meanwhile, please feel free to add questions to the chat, and Kay will feed them to me. Actors, if you want to go ahead and come back on again. Okay. I think I'm trying to change names. Oh, okay. I have one more name left to change. Get that there. There we go. Almost there. Okay. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for a wonderful show. And while we wait for our audience to pose their questions, I want to just start out by asking one of our questions. I know we talked about this during some of our rehearsals too. How do you feel about, how the roles for these women were circumscribed? And especially we see very clearly the difference between Katrina, who gets married in Act 4, and Bianca, who is still being courted. Who wants to start?
Well, I guess, boy, it's really weird. It is something to see that during that time, and it's still happening. This play was written so long ago, to have these two different women and going through two totally different things with a madman, a ruffian, a Roseby. And it was just to see it, and it can be mimicked now, and to see Katerina and Bianca, it's just, how did she become part of this? Like, what happened? Like, what did she do? Like, how did she deserve this? Like, why can't she be courted?
I'll say something about it. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I think that this kind of still does stand, not in my own marriage, but I think that when women are being courted, or when anybody is being courted, in any type of relationship, really, we always put on our Sunday's best, right? We always bring our best forward. We laugh quite a bit. We're trying and aiming to please each other, and particularly towards women. I think that is the discussion with women. You can see with Bianca, she still kind of holds the cards. She still has some control and some power over her destiny. Not really, but she can still behave certain ways and play coy with the guys who are courting her. Whereas that used to be Kate's life. She was, very bold and had kind of more choices and more power. But the moment she became married, she became the chattel, the ox, the ass of of her husband. And it is quite, that juxtaposition is shockingly different, you know what I mean? So I think that my dogs are going off, so I'll let you guys continue on that.
I think I do want to say that when I say, what did she do to deserve this? It's something that we ask in our marriages, period. Like, when you have this thing, like, how did I get here? We want to be loved, but I think back then love wasn't even a thing unless you had a choice. And so, yeah, I am really, like, looking at this play, it's totally different than what it was when I was younger. I did not see any of this like this. I just thought they were all crazy or something.
In that time, the marriages weren't so much about love. It was a business transaction. It was about exchange of money and land and everything. So how the girl felt about it, they didn't care. She was just, something to barter basically for the father. And I think it seems like Kate is a little more aware of that and a little more like, you know what, this ain't right. But she's, this is the society she lives in, and once she marries Petruchio, she's really got no choice. She either has to just nod her head and say, yeah, dear, whatever you say, because she's forfeited her right really to say no.
Point of information, Sunil, we have Doug Donald. He has a question for us. He says, has being involved in this unique production changed your perception of the play or of Shakespeare?
Well, I'll tell you, it's supposed to be a comedy, right, Doug? We know that. But after doing this project and with all women cast, I keep thinking, how do we make it relevant? I think Gail Chabanel asked a question too, or said something about she loved it when she was young and now she's uncomfortable. And so I think in order for this play to be relevant at all seems today, we have to find a way. And one of those ways is that for me, Kate learns really quickly how she's going to control a situation. She steals the power right out from under Petruchio when she says, okay, I'll play that game. If you say it's that, fine. If it's not, okay. She's not going to play his game there. And that's a bit of a power that she's holding on to. She's kind of cuts the legs out of his strategy there. Even though he didn't let her eat or sleep, she's still coming on strong. So I think mining something about the play to make it relevant today. Otherwise, yeah, it just becomes Kiss Me Kate, the musical, and okay, who cares? Does that make any sense?
So I have kind of a different take on Kate about her agreeing. I don't know if it's necessary, in my opinion, when I read through this, I don't know if I took it as she was taking the power back as much as she was just giving in. She was just giving in. She was tired. She was breaking. Not that's how that was my interpretation when I read it. So I guess it could go either way.
Well, I think it maybe starts out, if that scene would build from the fact that he didn't let her eat and sleep. Okay, so she's tired, but she's a really smart cookie. And she starts to figure things out, I think. And so it sort of builds from giving in to, okay, I can see how this can go. I can see how I can play this too.
Yeah,
the line that, I think it's both, but
the line that really makes me agree with her trying to take the power back is he's talking about, whether it's the moon or the sun, and she's just going, fine, it's the moon, whatever. But then when the guy comes down the street and she says, and he goes, well, tell her how beautiful she is, and she's describing this old man as being beautiful, and then Petruchio chastens her for that, and she says, oh, sorry, I was blinded by the sun. and say, bring it back to that point before about the sun. But I also wanted to chime in on, back then and nowadays and everything. If there weren't people who were unhappy about the status quo, this play would never have gotten written. You know, it's a spoof, it's a parody, it's a satire of the times because these things were happening, but also that a lot of people weren't happy about it. Like, I don't think that in general people were really happy about this sort of thing, men or women. Otherwise there wouldn't be a play that would have lasted all of this time, that would have been loved by so many people, because we love it not because we agree with Petruchio, but because we all want to stick it to people like Petruchio.
At this point. Yep, at this point, yep.
So
I found it. Sorry. Who was talking? Sunil?
Go ahead, Chrissy.
So I found it interesting in playing Petruchio. And here, so I've seen this show done so many different ways. And I've read it so many different times. And I always learn from it every time. Interestingly, playing a male role, and as you know, with all of my perspectives coming through life, I found myself playing it angrily, which I thought was interesting because obviously that was being fed from my opinion probably about what is happening here and my own whatever feminist nature I've got going on in my whole life of, you know, doing the things that I've done. But playing the man who suppresses the woman, I think I've seen it played more often as more jovial. Like he knows he's going to win because that's his job and that's how that goes and everybody knows that. But my interpretation is more menacing because it was being driven by my disgruntlement as a woman, if that makes sense. So
I think one of my notes to you yesterday, Chrissy, was, Chrissy, you were creepy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to speak to, we have another chat comment from Tim Bauman. I often wonder how this play was done in Elizabethan time, given that Queen Elizabeth did not get married off, proposed because she knew that any power she had, she'd be giving away to her husband. At best, she would have been forced to exert power through manipulation. This is what I see Kate having to do. So it's really that, I would agree,
Good point.
how you're seeing people manipulate the times, manipulate the relationship. And yeah.
Plus
Thank you.
it would have been a man playing Kate and men playing Kate and
We would have all been doomed
So let's ask
if
them.
this was Shakespearean English or England.
Makes me wonder, was it about Queen Elizabeth?
It cannot but inform the play to a certain extent. The fact that your monarch is a queen, a virgin queen who chose to be a virgin. So I believe that would have informed the play. I'm actually intrigued by Gail Chavanel's comment, which Leonard referred to earlier. When Gail was young, I thought this wonderful. Now I'm extremely uncomfortable. I know when we did our first read through, it really was a lot drama than comedy, if I remember it right. Could you guys talk a little bit about that? How we tried to bring some comedy back?
It was getting really dark.
So one of the things with Zoom, I think this also refers to Doug's comment. I'm going to very briefly speak on this and let you guys speak after that. One thing that I always found the difference between comedy and drama can be something as simple as distance. When the actors are this close to you, it's harder to not let the pain register, especially when we see Kate suffer. It's hard not to empathize with that. And I think at a distance, maybe we don't react quite as strongly and the comedy plays more. I do wonder about Zoom having that effect because it's a lot more intimate.
Well,
and it is this intimate, we react.
Well, and also, Sunil, comedy, this play has a lot of business in it. If you were to see it on stage, there's so much comic business. We can't do all of the comic business in this format.
This just
I don't
isn't
know
quite the same.
That well, it was pretty good though, Wendy. I mean, we there, but it's hard. This format's hard. I find myself antsy in my seat. I can't use my whole body.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, so physically, it's in terms of the comedy. At least that part of it's hard in this format. Maybe not for others, but for me.
We need avatars.
Go ahead, Alanda.
I said we need avatars.
Well, that's funny. Did anybody just see Tim Bowen's next comment? I think he's right.
Shrew is most closely linked to 1950s honeymooners.
Really, it was because Alice's strategies with Ralph were the same.
Part of the reason I felt uncomfortable with this play when you call it a comedy, and like Gail says she felt uncomfortable with it now, is because I think we're in an atmosphere right now where we all hate bullies.
Yeah.
And we have a very big bully that we all hate right now. And Petruchio reminds us of built bullies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we just get mad about it, being bullies. We want to get rid of them.
I think that's a really good point, Terry.
Yeah. Imagine that, someone who's in charge and who just kind of decides what's real and what's not and what's the truth.
Lies about it, tells you white is black and black is white. And
yeah, gee, no parallels at all.
No parallels.
Shows up with ridiculous.
Shakespeare was a visionary.
Shows up with ridiculous things on his head, that kind of stuff.
I mean, it really pushes, right? When somebody claims the sun is the moon and the moon is the sun, it really, I mean, where do you go from there? It really, Petruchio really does push all those buttons.
Yeah. And what I found was really interesting too, looking at this, I saw with Grumio was playing both sides, you know. Grumio just didn't want no trouble. Grumio did it, you know, like I didn't do it, but did it. But I'm gonna do everything where the power is. So if the power is leaning towards Petruchio, Grumio is right there with him, you know. So I thought that was very interesting to see that he was Kate's, you know, Katerina's, you know, help. Then he's teasing her with the food, you know, like he's giving her food, not giving her food. And I was confused at first. Like, I thought who does he work for? Who does Romeo work for?
That's the point, though, in the end. Who does he work for?
Yeah, who does he work for? You know, I was confused, too. I had to keep reading it. Like, okay, I'm not sure who, like, I don't know. But I thought that was really weird. And I've had situations in my own household when I was married the first time. And these are type of things that was going on with one of my eldest children. You know, you have the husband, he was Petruchio, my ex was, and then here I am. And so we had these conversations that the sun was the moon and the moon was the sun. And then you have this child that knew, like, okay, I'm playing two ends against the middle. So it was like reliving some things. I'm like, oh my God, this is vaguely familiar. Like I've seen this before. Never saw this in the play when I saw it. Now that you go through it, it's like, oh my God, like, wow. I get you. I'm with you, Gail. I'm uncomfortable too. Now I'm looking at it like.
So Neil, I just wanted to bring up again, we have a technology that we have not yet tested that allows folks in chat that have asked a question. And I'd like to see if, for example, you know, we've got several wonderful meeting the minds here, but what I'm asking is, could I ask like Gail Chavanello if she would like to actually have her voice heard?
Yes, I think it would be lovely.
Gail, I'm going to give you the opportunity to talk, so I'm giving that to you. So if you actually wanted to unmute and say something, you could.
Oh, hey, you guys.
Hi, Gail.
Women were wonderful being guys. And Chrissy was awful. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's really helpful, Lenore. You helped me a lot when you talked about Katerina, going through that quickly and becoming powerful with it. That was very, very helpful to me.
Okay.
Because otherwise I just got caught in it. And oh, listen, when I was a teenager and first going to Bryn Mawr, I had the Taming of the Shrew. And when I would do my laundry, I just read it because I thought it was so romantic. Scary.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Gail. And I just, we've got other people that have contributed, and so I'm going to riff on this. I'm going to give Doug Donald the opportunity to talk if you'd like. You can talk if you'd like, Doug. I'm also going to give opportunity to Tim.
This could be very embarrassing if I wasn't here now.
Yeah, but that picture, Doug, is
I am left.
making me laugh.
But no.
You guys have chosen to participate.
I find interesting. The one thing I find interesting with this play is, first of all, in Shakespeare time, it was a farce. It had no meaning. They did not try to layer meaning onto a comedy. This was strictly a situation to laugh at and provide comedy during his day. But now we lay meaning on it based on what we're going through. I've always thought over the last few years, I would have, and I'd asked if you even thought about that, Sunil, of doing it seriously, not thinking of it as a comedy, but doing it seriously. Because I think if it was done right, for me, it could have a lot of things to say about domestic abuse or other things if you totally change how you stage and do the show with pretty much the exact same lines.
Huh.
Doug, I will very briefly address it and say the adaptation is changing as based on the feedback. Acts 3 and 4, for me, the adaptation was a lot different than adapting Acts 1 and 2. And I think the cast told me that too when we did the read-through. It read a lot more serious because that's the direction the play seems to want to go based on these actors. I have a suspicion it will be straight up drama at the end. But
so then the journey is the journey has changed for you as you've been working on it?
Definitely it has. It surprised me in many, many ways. And these actors have given me so much to work with. So yes, I think it has changed, definitely.
Well, thank you very much, Doug. I'd like to give an opportunity for Tim Bauman to talk if you'd like. And then also early on, Art Roach, if you're still with us, I'd like to give you an opportunity to contribute some of these comments that you were making in the beginning because they were very valuable as well. So first, Tim, if you'd like to make comment.
He sent a message that is so funny.
Oh, he says, I'll pass. I'm shopping. Hey, that is, I get you. No problem. Art, if you'd like to chime in. What we're doing here, folks that are just attending and watching this video, people that have done in chat, I'm doing this social experiment to see if they'd actually like to have voice. So Art, you're up if you'd like to give voice. Otherwise, we can continue with the discussion as it is.
Sure, I have no huge insights to make. I really enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed this time around much more than the first time around. I think just maybe I was getting more into the story. Wait a minute, there my power is going here, but just a minute. Oh. No, okay. And yeah, well, I made a comment about, I can't think of the name of the character, Lenore's character, I think. Huh?
Which one? You made a comment about how she was leaning in close to the cam to deliver an aside.
Oh yeah, I liked the asides that several of the actors were making when they moved in close, and it was clear that they were talking to the audience, to the camera, not to the other characters. I liked that part. I mean, I'm mostly talking now about the sort of the Zoom experience. I also liked I think it was Lenore's character when the other person in the conversation referenced his 3-inch horn, and she looked down at it. I thought that was great.
I didn't catch that the first time about, and then I did, and I went, oh my God, okay.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That was excellent, and just those little touches I really enjoyed. And I think I made a comment also that I thought, again, the Zoom experience, I thought the lighting and the sound levels were very balanced and very clear, and maybe that added, I'm sure that did add to my enjoyment of this Act 3 and 4 over Acts 1 and 2. But I've enjoyed the whole experience, and I'm looking forward to October 8th. And I'll stop talking.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Art. With that, I'm going to kind of end our interactive giving voice to people. I thought that was really cool. We'll have to, I think that's a neat option that we have, guys. Folks in the future, if you want to contribute to the chat and say something, but I think we might be getting to the point where we might be wrapping up. But Sunil, please direct where we're heading next.
One of the things I wanted to also, before we end, ask is the nature of storytelling. We don't actually get to see everything, but several things are narrated. And I think Lenore got quite a bit of it, as Tranio talking about the marriage, as Grumio talking about the journey.
And me just being absolutely gobsmacked.
Yeah, actually, it was kind of interesting that Wendy was listening in both cases.
It was fun to play with you, Wendy, in those scenes.
Thank you.
It really was.
So how does that, why do that as opposed to showing the drama? Potentially you could stage those scenes, right? They're not physically cumbersome.
Well,
it makes it more joyous.
The falling off the horse in the mud might have been a little troublesome.
Yeah, as a filmmaker, I can say that there's budget reasons for a lot of that, I'm sure.
There's also, if you want to be in the theater for 5 hours.
Right.
Right.
Because these plays are long.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also wanted to point out that there's similarity between that and the Zoom, as at one point theater, they didn't have the big sets and costumes and everything. It was just black with just a few little props and things. And things got more elaborate and more elaborate and more elaborate, but telling the story right there they'd be able to do so much more with what little they had. And it just brings it right full circle back to Zoom. It's just the next evolution of theater is getting back to simplicity and just the few little props, and just getting back to basics and letting the audience enjoy their imaginations.
I thought you really nailed those long speeches, unseens today, Lenore. I really enjoyed those.
Well, thank you.
And I think the part of just the word choice, if they're not going to show those scenes in person, I think there are some really wonderfully descriptive verbs and adjectives that and the quotes and stuff. So I think it's a money saver on the set, but also gives this very vivid picture of the exact way that he wanted you to envision it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's yeah.
Well, sometimes it also gives you, there's so much about Petruchio's story, and he dominates the stage, right? This also relieves some of the pressure of the main actor to a certain extent. It also gives all these other wonderful actors to tell their story in a different way. So I think, do we have any more comments before we wrap up? We are already at 7:40, so I don't want to push too much.
Right. I do have one thing. As your friendly president of the company, I just want to say I was so tickled to have you guys join us, because everybody's, there's been people that have been too busy to be in a play, Wendy Wilmert and Alanda Gregory, but then we've got folks joining us from far-flung places like Crescenta Vold and Ava Ressler. Eva Risler. And it's just so nice that that is a aspect of the Zoom Friends of Duma, that we get to bring the family back and we get to still maintain these relationships. So that is really important to me. And I think it's really important to Fly By Night as a whole that we're getting to do that. So we are very, very thankful for each and every one of you actors today. So thank you so much for joining us.
And thank you, Kay.
Thank you,
Kay. Thank you, Kay.
Sunil. Thank you, guys. This is
And
awesome.
I would say to everybody, please come back for the third section because Kate gets her say. And I think that'll be yet
It is
another
her big speech.
Yeah. So I think that'll be fun. And I haven't gone and read ahead so that I could just encounter each session new. But just knowing from seeing the play years ago and so it'll be interesting. But thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Yep. And then before you call it, Sunil, I want to then just do a shout out to these wonderful folks that have joined us. Of course, you know, we spoke with Art Roach and Doug Donald and Gail and Tim, but you know, I see you guys here: Amy Ressler, Jerry Schaefer, Hollywood Howard, Jane Angelica, John and Carol Belong, Linda Ressler, Linda Tripp, Lori Olendick, Mike Gibson. You know, folks that you guys stayed on to listen to this whole conversation. Well done. Thank you very much for being part of this process. And all respectful that I read your names. If you didn't like that, I'm sorry. So I think I covered all the bases. Now
But you're all part of the family. You're all part of the family.
Yes.
So anyway, enough with the mushiness. Sunil, may I conclude this recording?
Yes, you may. Thank you, everyone. See you all.
Thank you.
at
Thank
Taming.
you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.